Everything you want to know about workers' comp for electricians. Few professions are as necessary as electricians. Electricity runs everything. It powers home, it keeps people warm, and is used to run most things. Where would we be without electricity? With that said, being an electrician is a dangerous job. It carries many risks, some which are obvious to a regular layperson and some which are not. All these risks means that workers' comp for electricians is very necessary. Accidents happen even to the most cautious worker, and you want to make sure there's a workers' comp policy in place when that accident occurs. Hi, I'm Sari from Kickstand Insurance, and in this video, I'm going to discuss everything you want to know about workers' comp for electricians. Let's take a moment and talk about the risks that come along with being an electrician. Electricians frequently come into contact with many different kinds of hazards. It's the nature of the job, and it can't be avoided entirely, so an insurance policy will take that into account. In addition to exposure to many different kinds of injuries, the severity of the injury is most likely to be much more severe than, let's say, an office worker. Tripping over a rug, you don't usually hurt yourself as bad as if you get an electrical shock. The most common injuries for electricians are electric shock, electric burns, thermal burns, and falls. With any of these injuries, there is a potential for long-lasting damage to many different systems in the body. Even with proper equipment, an electrician can't be completely protected from injuries such as a burn. Accidents happen, and sometimes no one is truly at fault. Many electricians are frequently exposed to height risks as well, especially if they work on power lines. Working at great heights presents another set of risks on top of the regular electrician risks and will be factored into the premium calculations. All right, so now that we've got a brief overview of the kind of risks electricians will face and why they need workers' comp insurance, let's talk about what electrician workers' comp insurance will cover. Workers' comp insurance primarily covers lost wages, medical expenses, and funeral expenses. Let's break each one down. If an employee gets injured or gets sick on the job, the workers' comp policy will cover the associated medical costs as long as they're related to that original incident. For some employees, this will be a single hospital visit and a prescription. For others, workers' comp will cover treatment for the rest of their lives. Here's an example. If an electrician sprains their foot on a job, workers' comp will cover the cost of the evaluation, the treatment, and short-term therapy. This is hopefully a short-term injury with a short-term resolution, and hopefully the worker's back on the job really soon. If an electrician suffers a severe electric burn, they could have lingering issues for years. In both cases, workers' comp insurance will cover the treatment that both workers need. Now let's talk about lost wages. Lost wages are the wages the employee is losing out on by not working. The amount varies from state to state. On average, workers' comp will cover about 2/3 of a worker's typical salary. Some states have higher or lower coverage, and they also differ on exactly when the lost wages kicks in. For example, in Florida, wage replacement starts 7 days after the injury, while in Massachusetts, it begins after just 5 days of missed work. Now let's talk about funeral costs. In the unfortunate case where a worker will die on the job, the workers' comp policy will cover the costs of the funeral and pay out benefits to the deceased spouse or dependents. Those are the three main ways that workers' comp insurance will help an injured employee. If protecting employees isn't enough of a motivation to get a workers' comp plan, bear in mind that there are penalties involved if you don't have a plan, and you should. There are laws in place governing when and how you would need a policy, and if you violate these laws, you can have penalties up to several $1,000s. Other potential outcomes can include the following. On a construction site, you could be issued a stop work order. Now, everybody hates the thought of a stop order, but if you're working without a workers' comp policy in place, you definitely can be issued one, and all work must cease immediately until you have the proper protections in place. Another one is lawsuits. If a business doesn't have a workers' comp policy in place, or they don't take care of things properly and don't report things in a timely manner, they can be sued. Every workers' comp claim has to be filed within a certain amount of time, depending on what state you live in. And if you file outside of that time frame, you can end up with big issues. Your employee may also choose to sue you because they're having trouble then getting the proper coverage they need. Related to this topic, the state can also issue fines for failing to comply within the time frame. You can also be fined for not having the proper coverage in place. All in all, these penalties can accumulate really quickly and at times be more expensive than your workers' comp policy even. It's a major risk that leaves your employees unprotected and your business at risk of lawsuit and fine. So be smart. Just get the policy. Now let's talk about how costs are calculated. An equation which factors peril information and class codes will determine premium rates. What are class codes? It's a good thing you asked. Class codes, or classification codes, are set by the National Council of Compensation Insurance. They designate a number that represents risk associated with every kind of job that someone can do. Exposure to hazardous material, working at heights, all these risky things will increase your level of risk. Insurance companies do not make these codes, but they use them to assign a numeric value for the risk that your workers do, and then use that numeric value to calculate your premium. Electricians tend to fall under these common class codes. 5190 would be an electrician or an electrical contractor. This would also cover installation of electrical systems in buildings and low voltage work. 7605 would be fire or burglar alarm installation. 9516 would be home theater equipment installation and repair. 5738 would be utility and power line work. Definitions of the class codes will vary slightly between states, but generally these tend to be the categories. There are some tips that can help lower the cost of your workers' comp policy. Let's discuss them briefly. The first is to have a safety program. Having a formal, clearly written safety program will set the insurance company at ease. You should address typical safety concerns like training on scissor lifts or procedures for ladders or any other big equipment. Another one is giving the underwriter the most information that you have. Leaving out information means they will assume the highest level of risk. So if you can tell them the highest level of voltage you use or the highest height that you will climb to, it will help them actually lower your risk and help lower your premiums. In addition to having your formal safety program, you actually should have safety trainings. Health and safety trainings result in a well-prepared workforce that gets injured less, especially if you hold these trainings on a monthly or quarterly basis, so your workers really know their stuff. All right, now that you know why you need insurance and how insurance can help you, let's talk about where you can buy workers' comp insurance. Not every insurance company or agency is willing to work with electricians. Some people avoid all high-risk work. If you're struggling to find someone who will insure your electric company, Kickstand Insurance can help. Kickstand offers insurance policies made just for electricians and works with a wide variety of high-risk industries. We know those employers and employees need coverage too, and we're happy to help them get a policy that's right for them. Our process is easy. Apply online at kickstandinsurance.com, and within a few short minutes, you have an instant quote, giving you an approximate idea of what your policy will cost. Then, one of our agents will reach out to you, review a few brief questions to make sure you're getting the right policy for your business, and we'll send you quotes same day. Once you bind, your certificate is available within 24 hours. So what are you waiting for? Head to kickstandinsurance.com and get the expert help you need to figure out your class codes, save money, and make sure your employees are protected. Workers' comp insurance is too important to ignore. No matter where you're located, it's a necessity. Don't leave your employees and your business without coverage when you can get a policy in place within mere minutes. Head to kickstandinsurance.com to get started. Good luck. Remember to like and subscribe for more business and insurance tips.